Mark Carney held his first post-election press conference today. Want to know what he said? We'll talk about that. Then I'll tell you the latest on the Pierre Poilievre leadership watch, because we now know which riding he's going to run in to try to slip back into the House of Commons. But first, the big news out of Mark Carney's press conference today is that the Prime Minister confirmed he's going to meet with Trump in Washington on Tuesday. His focus, Carney said, will be on tariffs and the broader relationship between our two sovereign nations.
My government will fight to get the best deal for Canada.
Carney told us that in the meantime, he's also been strengthening Canada's relationships with, quote, reliable trading partners and allies. In the last few days, he spoke to leaders from France, the European Council, Japan, Ukraine, and the Secretary General of the United Nations. Carney also tried to encourage Canadians who might have been tempted to move abroad to come back home.
Canada has what everyone wants. We're a confident nation that celebrates our diversity, that believes in and practices free speech, that respects the rule of law, that has a vibrant democracy. For Canadians abroad thinking about returning to build their lives in our nation, there's never been a better time to come home.
On the domestic side of things, Carney also dropped a few key dates for us. First off, in news that's going to have people who are unhealthily obsessed with the royals go absolutely feral, the throne speech is actually going to be delivered by King Charles. That's right, the guy who once tried to rizz up my mom, I know, my family lore goes deep, is going to open our parliament on May 27th during a royal visit to Canada. By the way, my mom usually watches these videos, so leave a comment for her and her beautiful big hair. Love you, Mom! Anyways, Carney also confirmed that his new cabinet will be sworn in on the 12th of May and that Parliament will be back on May 26th. Turning to domestic priorities, Carney said the coming weeks will bring the biggest transformation of our economy since the end of the Second World War. Quote, "This will be an incredibly exciting time as we take control of our economic destiny to create a new Canadian economy that works for everyone." As for the specifics, Carney basically just reiterated everything that was in the Liberal platform, so I won't bore you by repeating all of that. The one thing I will tell you, if you weren't already aware, is that it looks like Canada Day is going to be a big one on two fronts. It's Carney's self-imposed deadline for knocking down federal interprovincial trade barriers, and he also said that this is when the middle-class tax cut is going to go into effect. Carney also kicked off this entire press conference, which again is his first one post-election, by saying, quote, "While different visions were put forth by various contenders, we disagreed agreeably, and the leader of every party quickly and graciously accepted the results."
At a time when democracies around the world are under threat, Canadians can be proud that ours remains strong.
Carney also asked Canadians to come together in the face of the threat from the United States using a hockey analogy.
Canadians in the NHL play for a variety of teams passionately against each other. But when they're in a once-in-a-lifetime series such as the Four Nations or the Olympics, those same Canadians come together to win it all. During elections, Canadians play and cheer for different teams. Now that election is over, and we are in a once-in-a-lifetime crisis. It's time together, it's time to come together to put on our Team Canada sweaters and win big.
Meanwhile, while Carney is going to be meeting with Trump on Tuesday, the Conservatives will apparently also be having their caucus meeting. At least that's what CBC News' Kate McKenna reported on Power in Politics last night. While there, they could trigger a process to vote on whether to remove Pierre Poilievre as leader under something called the Reform Act. That's actually how Erin O'Toole was ousted in 2022. It would be a secret ballot, meaning that other members of the Conservative caucus wouldn't know how their peers voted. But several Conservative MPs have been coming out to voice their support, at least publicly, for Pierre Poilievre. I actually went around, grabbed screenshots of all the ones I could find this morning and put them into this beautiful collage. But just because they say something publicly doesn't mean they'd vote another way privately, so. Either way, it seems like Tuesday is going to be a massive day for news between the Conservative caucus meeting and the Trump-Carney meeting. And I should probably mention that Pierre Poilievre is actually back on his pathway to the House of Commons. The party confirmed today that MP Damien Carrick, who represented the riding of Battle River Crowfoot in Alberta, will be stepping down so that Poilievre can run in a by-election there. And in case you were wondering if there's any chance of Poilievre losing this by-election, Damien Carrick got 81.8 48% of the votes on Monday night. I spent a little time today actually looking into the vote margins, so like how much each MP won their riding by in the most recent election, and it turns out this riding is the third safest in the entire country. In other words, as soon as that by-election process plays itself out, you can pretty safely say that Poilievre will be back in the House of Commons. And in an initial put your money where your mouth is moment from Mark Carney following his proclamations about wanting to bring the country together during this press conference, he confirmed that he would call that by-election, which he would have 6 months to call after the MP resigns, as soon as possible and not play any games by dragging out that process for Pierre Poilievre.
I've already indicated to Mr. Poilievre that if it's the decision of him and the Conservative Party to trigger, if I can put it that way, a by-election, I will ensure that it happens as soon as possible. Okay. No games, nothing, straight.
The last thing I'll mention from today is that the Prime Minister was specifically asked about the possibility of striking some kind of a formal deal with an opposition party to turn his minority into a majority. And on that topic, Carney said he's not interested.
Will you be pursuing a formal governing pact of any kind with the NDP?
No. Short answer, no.
And why not?
Why?
That's the latest Canadian political news. I'm going to relax this weekend because it seems like next week is going to be a real doozy. I'll see you Monday, but until then, what do you think of all this?